clueless in Providence. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Right, if recent history is any guide, eventually the Brown University killer will be caught, and then we should learn more about the individual's motive. But late today, 5 days since the nightmare unfolded in Providence, an official press conference did nothing to reassure the public, the victims, or their families. Serious questions remain unanswered. The first involves video from the building where the shooting took place. Now, what was said yesterday, that the old part of the building didn't have cameras, seemed to have been contradicted today by the provost.
They want to know how a school with a $9 billion endowment does not have cameras on one of the older buildings.
We don't publish the locations of the cameras. That would give a map to somebody to evade detection on the cameras.
I was told yesterday there wasn't cameras in the building. The Attorney General said, old building, no cameras, attached to a new building with cameras.
All video imagery has been turned over to law enforcement.
Well, that clears it up. This is absurd. Now, the second question is about witness interviews. Have they interviewed all the witnesses who saw the shooter? There were a number in that classroom. Well, that would require their knowing who actually was in that classroom.
And actually, we're cooperating with Brown to get the roster. That was a study hall, so we don't have the number. We're still getting information as far as who was there. I know Brown sent out an email to the students to notify us if they were present, and we're still getting that, so I can't give you an exact account.
Okay. They sent an email? Wow, that's terrific. How high-tech of them. Come on, this is basic stuff that they should know by now. Now, the third question involves other images that we may have of this, quote, person of interest.
In the video released yesterday, it appears that the person of interest is going by a police cruiser that has its lights on. Does that mean that the dash cam in that cruiser was on and activated, and have police been able to recover anything useful from that video?
So that was a Brown police cruiser, and I'm not sure if they have body cameras in their cruisers. I don't think they do.
Okay, well, why would we expect anyone to know these basic facts? Okay, he's the police chief. He didn't think to ask Brown University PD if its police cars had dash cams. I mean, they're desperately looking for information about this person of interest. Now, social media comments were brutal today. Lots of folks watching struggle to understand what he's saying at any given time, although it is kind of cool that he switches at random times to Spanish.
Esta persona verdaderamente es alguien que nosotros tenemos un interés de hablar con ellos porque estaba en la área inmediata donde este individuo estaba. Entonces queremos saber más.
Muy bueno. Now, the fourth question is, what kind of gun or guns were used?
We are not in a position to say, unless the chief, you want to square it, whether this was a long gun or not. I think that there's been an account from the TA. There are multiple accounts about multiple things, including how this gunman approached the victims.
I could go on and on here. Of course, we need to be fair. These investigations, though, are not easy. We're not saying they are easy. They do require painstaking work. But above all, we need competence and credibility. And while it's standard procedure to ask for help from the public, and that can be critical in an investigation, Rhode Island AG Nerona took it further.
Well, look, certainly it would behoove everyone, including the shooter, to provide information to law enforcement and to the shooter to turn himself in.
Did he really say that? Yeah, I'm sure at any moment the shooter's getting ready to call the tip line. Now, you know they're in over their heads when simple questions elicit indecipherable non-answers.
Have you found any DNA evidence from the crime scene or the area that you believe might belong to the shooter?
So we have found a lot of evidence that we need to, and we use and utilize it to hopefully guide us in the right direction in order to identify the individual that we're looking for.
Any of that been DNA evidence?
This actual physical evidence, there's DNA evidence, there's a lot of evidence that we're collecting to ensure that we can find the answer.
Why doesn't he just say we don't have any DNA evidence? Apparently they don't. Yes, we've even seen some of these efforts, though, to gather evidence kicking around the snow. Well, you never know what's under the snow. Look, perhaps rather than holding press conferences at this point, they should just post relevant new information online. Let the expert investigators do their work. They're the pros. And that's the angle.
Fox News alert, it's been almost 5 days since a gunman shot up one of the most prestigious universities in the world and got away with it. No one knows where the shooter is, who he is, or what he looks like. After days of no answers and no leads, Brown students are angry.
The general mood I've been feeling is like getting the air knocked out of you. It's pretty sad on campus. We have been concerned and confused and hoping that there's more progress in the case. There's definitely uneasiness with the gunman not being in custody.
There's uneasiness because we're not getting any answers from the people in charge. Their press conferences are an embarrassment. The police chief doesn't even know who was in the room during the shooting.
Can you now say how many kids were in that classroom, and did the gunman come in from the back so these people never knew it was coming, or did he come in front with full view of everybody?
And that's all part of the interviews, and actually we're cooperating with Brown to get the roster. That was a study hall, so we don't have the number. We're still getting information as far as who was there.
It's been 5 days, and you don't have a list of witnesses? You don't even know how many witnesses there are? And the witnesses that you have talked to, they told you the gunman shouted something, but you don't know what that is. One eyewitness said there was around 20 ducking behind the table. You can't track down 20 of your own students? Well, the New York Times says there's 60 eyewitnesses. How do they know that? And the chief doesn't. The local media has had it.
Had it been a final exam, we'd have a roster. We'd handed it over. We know exactly who was in the room because everybody shows up for a final. But for a study session, it's elective.
We're finishing the answer. Ronaldo.
It's elective. I have a question for you. It's elective to turn out for a study session. So we don't know exactly what fraction of the overall roster turned out for a voluntary review session.
Okay. Remember the black student witness who told ABC that the shooter had a long gun that was really big? Now they're saying the gun might have been small.
You don't think there's multiple weapons?
No, just that individual.
I just want to jump in here too, because you mentioned a long gun. We are not in a position to say, unless the chief, you want to square it, whether this was a long gun or not.
And get this. Now we're learning Brown University had more than 800 surveillance cameras. They had 1,200. And not a single camera got a shot of the shooter entering or exiting the building. Is it dumb luck that he found the one blind spot on campus? Or is he a student who knows the lay of the land? Or did he just case the place for hours and no one noticed?
It's believed, based on what we know, that the gunman, primary person of interest, the suspect, came out of that entrance or exit and started walking this way and passing this dumpster. If you just look around this parking lot to show everybody, there are no cameras that we can see out here, right outside of the Barris and Hawley building. You can see there are no cameras that we see visible to the eye. So that is something that has been a big sticking point in this investigation.
Why wouldn't you put cameras on the perimeter of campus so you can see who's coming on the campus and who's coming off? That's Security 101. Here we have surveillance video that caught the shooter right after the attack, walking by a cop car a block away from the building at 4:06 Saturday afternoon. This could be a huge break. That means we have dash cam footage of the shooter leaving the scene of the crime, right? No. The police chief hasn't checked.
In the video released yesterday, it appears that the person of interest is going by a police cruiser that has its lights on. Does that mean that the dash cam in that cruiser was on and activated, and have police been able to recover anything useful from that video?
So that was a Brown police cruiser, and I'm not sure if they have body cameras in their cruisers.
You're not sure if Brown's police cruisers have dash cams? You haven't asked them that yet? And you're standing right next to the Brown University campus police chief. Does he know? More on that guy later. And this just into Fox. We're told Brown's police cruisers do not have dash cams. So a multi-billion-dollar university with an engineering department researching AI can't put a camera on the squad car. Some of the poorest counties in America have dash cams on patrol cars, but not one in the richest school in the country almost. Apparently, this shooter just disappeared.
Another video that they obtained later subsequently places him right here behind this pole. And this is where he crosses the street. Once he crosses this street here, hits that corner and goes up that way, the police are essentially at the mercy of residential cameras in order to obtain video. This is a wealthy neighborhood. A lot of the houses have walls. They're well set back. They don't have Ring cameras, and if they do, they're internal.
No one knows where the guy went. Cops are asking for Tesla owners to turn over their videos. Hopefully, they haven't all been firebombed. Later on in today's press conference, the chief just casually drops this bombshell. Listen.
We have seized and found physical evidence.
And does that include a gun magazine?
We have found physical evidence.
Can you say where?
I'm not going to confirm.
What's the evidence? Does the chief even know? My goodness. Providence police just happen to also be looking for a second person they say was in the proximity of the shooter. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Nobody knows.
Are we sure it's a man? I know it was brought up in the question before it could be a man, but are we 100% sure it's a man, or could it be a woman as well?
It's a person that we would like to at least speak with.
Oh, okay. Maybe the person's trans. Wouldn't surprise me. Now, this could be just a false lead. There's a chance this person has nothing to do with this. Or he could be a getaway driver. Or could have been a spotter. Could have transferred the weapon. We don't know. We still don't know where the gun is or how the shooter escaped. Car, bike, bus, electric scooter. Even CNN's like, what the hell, Smiley?
How on earth does it happen that somebody can walk into a prestigious university like Brown or any school that has thousands of students and faculty and support staff, shoot at least 11 people, and then apparently walk out and disappear?
I don't think it matters that it's a prestigious university. We've all seen horrific acts of gun violence in public schools.
You know Brown's in trouble when Trump and Jake are on the same side. Here's the president. Why did Brown University have so few security cameras? There can be no excuse for that. In the modern age, it just doesn't get worse. It's gotten so bad that people think Brown is in on a cover-up.
Is the Brown University withholding anything, for the record?
For the record, we are cooperating 100% with law enforcement. We are turning over everything we have to assist in this investigation.
Reporters think Brown's covering up a school shooting. The university told us they have footage from inside the building, but they won't release it. They say it doesn't show the shooter. So there's camera footage that the university is refusing to release. At one point, a reporter asked, why don't you just release it so that the public can help you solve this? That's when the Attorney General snapped. Watch.
Would you like all of it?
Why not?
Well, because here's why. Because it doesn't tell us anything about who committed this crime yet. If we get a better image of who committed this crime, you'll have it. There is no effort to preclude the public, online investigators in the press, from getting to the result faster than we can. If you can identify this person faster than we can, have at it.
Has there ever been a mass shooting in modern America where there's not a single image of the crime scene? We don't even know what the auditorium looks like, not even a rendering. We haven't seen shell casings, bullet holes. They don't even know if the shooter came in the front or the back. And now they're telling Fox, police don't even know how long the shooter was in the room. They don't even tell us how long it took for police to respond to the scene. Apparently, there's anywhere between 20 to 60 eyewitnesses, and no one took any video. Did anybody try to tackle the gunman? The new excuse for why they didn't have a camera by the building was because the building was old. You know where they do have a camera? Outside the university president's house. And that building is over 100 years old. And they have state-of-the-art security cameras. But this building, facing the streets of Providence, doesn't have a camera. and the door didn't need a swipe card, and campus security didn't have a guard there.
Was there a security guard ever posted at the engineering building entrance? If so, were they there that day, and what did they do? And if not, why not?
So maybe I'll ask our chief of police to speak to that.
On that day, we did not have and do not have a security asset posted inside the building.
Is that atypical of a Saturday or in that particular building? How do you determine where security is posted, and is that under the purview of Brown Police?
That is typical for that academic space.
So that right there is the mysterious campus safety chief, Rodney Chapman. Funny, we haven't really heard from him. Where's he been? Well, we just discovered the Brown University police chief isn't really a big fan of policing. He once said this: communities don't want policing done to them. How this guy came to Brown is a crazy story. He was the head of campus security at the University of Utah, and right after he was hired there, he was immediately suspended because he didn't have the proper credentials. Utah then told him, we're going to fire you or you're going to have to resign. What's it going to be? So Rodney resigned, and Brown said, we'll take you. And right before this shooting, Brown's police union issued a vote of no confidence in Chief Rodney. The chief's own men accused Rodney of endangering officers and creating a toxic workplace culture. Rodney should know the campus better than anyone, but all week he's been hiding under his desk. He's obviously completely unqualified. Brown's the most liberal Ivy League school, and they take DEI more seriously than safety. The school's been under intense pressure from the Palestinian students. The president, who was a no-show at today's presser, has been heckled for years by Muslim underclassmen. She always bends the knee, but they heckle her anyway. Over the summer, radical left human rights groups demanded Brown disable their security cameras so Palestinian activists could raise hell under the radar. Did they cave? We asked. No response. It's not just Brown. The whole city is a DEI mess. You know who else was at the press conference? The Providence City Council Chief of Staff is a genderless bisexual who was arrested for protesting at Trump Tower this year. Meanwhile, the police chief could be compromised. Turns out the chief's nephew was sentenced to 22 years in federal prison for running one of the largest fentanyl rings in Rhode Island. And Mayor Smiley promoted him to chief knowing his family was trafficking. Why would Smiley do that? Well, because Smiley and the chief speak the same language. The chief's main goal is to diversify the department. It's too white. He says when an officer shows up to a call on a Colombian block party, say, Colombians are loud. They know how to party. And a Colombian officer would be more understanding, while a white officer would just start slapping cuffs on everyone at the fiesta. This is the guy leading the investigation into one of the biggest unsolved mass shootings in American history. 11 people shot, 2 dead. One was like the most prominent Republican on campus. And we don't have any answers or videos or pictures. We don't know what he shouted, if he had an accomplice, the size of his gun, the number of witnesses, where he is, how he got out. And the people trying to ask questions are getting told, shut up, by the Rhode Island senator.
For people who have no idea what they're talking about to offer their stupid and ill-informed views about what happened all over the internet. So I would please, just from a law enforcement perspective, ask anyone who sees this to just shut up.
They're asking for the public's help, but they're telling us to shut up. They arrested the wrong guy, got no video, and didn't even know if the brown cop cars had dash cams. They're in no position to lecture anybody. This is completely unacceptable, the whole thing.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. She talks so fast, her opinions leave skid marks. Outnumber co-host Emily Campagna. He's fresh out of jail because the big man paid his bail. Former GOP Congressman George Santos. She's as wide as an inch and once dated the Grinch. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor Captain right, old ladies everywhere want to unwrap his candy cane. Former NBA world champion and host of the Planet Average podcast. Emily, don't you love it when the media, when they're caught red-handed, they always retreat into we make mistakes. But you can look at almost everything the media does, and it's never a mistake. It's intended. When they make mistakes, they offer it up. But when it's intended, they never offer it up. That's how you know it's real.
And this especially is so egregious. The 54-minute splicing together, the totally different conclusion. You know, BBC ran that the summation of the entire speech was, we're going to storm the Capitol together, when the whole point of Donald Trump's speech at that time was, we're going to peacefully assemble. I mean, this is beyond the level of malicious intent and everything needed to pass the bar of this legally. But I'll say this. So Florida only needs minimum contact. And granted, there is a jurisdictional and a procedural bar initially, but all of that stuff is in place to make things fair.
Yeah.
And I think it's obvious that everything the BBC did was so beyond unfair, was so egregious, was so malicious, and filled with intent to corrupt people's viewpoint of now President Trump, thank God, that the courts are going to see through that. So Florida will not, I believe, the courts will not say, no, no, this belongs in your territory. No, 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 it didn't stream here. I think they will say, yeah, you f***ed around and you're about to find out.
Emily. George, welcome back from doing hard time. Does it feel pretty cool to be an ex-con, to walk around as an ex-con?
You know, I was only commuted. I wasn't pardoned. And part of me is just like, you know what? I'm a felon, so people don't with me anymore.
Yeah. Do you walk into, like, dive bars downtown?
Like, I'm a felon.
Yeah, and just sit at the bar and just go, give me a shot and a beer. And then go, man, it was tough inside.
It was bad.
I lost some good friends back there. When you were in jail, did they ever ask about me?
Actually, yes.
I think, see?
So that's actually true. Funny you bring that up. I'm sitting in prison, and first night there, I'm watching Fox News. You're on. And some of the guys said, oh, we've seen you on before. I'm like, oh, great. We watch Fox News in prison, too.
Yes.
So there was a TV dedicated just to Fox News.
That's great.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of conservatives in jail?
It's a mixed bag, but I was in South Jersey, so naturally, yes.
Yeah. I don't know the territories, like where they are, but it's...
torture enough for a New Yorker, though, to be sentenced to South Jersey.
Did you, you worked in the kitchen, didn't you?
I did work in the kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. You know,
oh, you're so mean.
Yeah, you're the...
So mean.
I mean, I thought, a lot of guys go to jail and they lose weight, George.
I know, okay, I was there 84 days. I didn't have time to get my prison body on, come on.
Yes, that's the whole point of going to jail, is getting your prison body on. And a little experimentation.
I don't know about that.
That you can do without, you know, any shame, because, you know, while you're in Rome. So, George, do you have anything to say about this case, the BBC?
You got everybody going with Paul and Rome. I hate
Yeah, we all need 3 seconds to go, what the
So on this case, and I'm just going to try to pivot here, if the audience allows me. On this case, it's wild because a few things are missing context. A lot of these footages were used in court cases against J6ers.
Yes.
And that specific clip was used in Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson's big J6 committee, like production from ABC, funded by and produced by ABC people. So when you look at this, it's infuriating because this was the crux of the misleading of he's an enemy of democracy. And now we finally somebody figured out that there's 54 minutes missing.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
That is you know, Kat, that's a great point. I didn't even think about it before, but like if this was used in the J6er trials and that commission, all that stuff's got to go. I mean, the commission, what can they do? But like with they're already commuted, but they should, whatever they legally can do. That thing.
For legal?
By the way, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad one person's glad I'm back.
How was jail?
Yeah, I got out a lot faster. No, look, nothing will probably come of this. It's really difficult for a sitting president to win a defamation case, as it should be. But so he probably won't. But obviously, I agree with you that it's not really about this. It's about the headlines. It's about getting out there and saying, whoa, look at what happened. Look what they did. And what's the BBC may or may not understand, what a lot of these news organizations may or may not understand, is that, forget about the money for a second, the damage that's been done to these organizations because people do know that they did this stuff. A lot of people will straight up just assume that anything they're seeing on one of these organizations is a lie. And there's really, I don't know how you come back from that. I don't know if there is any coming back from that. These have been so damaged that it's like you can get a million things right, but when people see you're the place that did this, you're the place that did it, they just completely tune you out altogether.
All right, Mr. Tyrus, what say you about the BBC?
Listen, I only watch the BBC when David Attenborough's on. If he's not on, I don't watch it. Oh no, I did like the Murdoch mysteries for some reason, but
yeah,
we do the same thing. We help them. We use words that we don't know what they mean anymore. Mistake.
Yeah.
How do you have coordinated mistakes?
Yeah.
It wasn't one outlet or one person that did this. It was networks, constantly, same talking points, senators, same talking points. Everybody was getting their stuff from the same mistake. Walk that guy out. He has some explaining to do. It was a coordinated coup and attack. January 6th is nothing more. They saw it as an opportunity to get the Orange Dragon.
Yeah.
That's it. How you lose 54 minutes of anything, that's a whole episode of any show.
Yes.
We're only like 44.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we filmed this and like, hey, Greg, we made a mistake and we only got 2 minutes of the show? That individual would be fired. It then wouldn't go on every show on Fox and cut it to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So to say the word the mistake is ridiculous. It was a coordinate, and I think his lawyer should look at that. It was a if you went to jail as a result of that, you should be also suing.
Yes.
You should get on that gravy train.
That's true.
You know,
Class
I want
action.
20 million. Yeah, my reputation was besmirched. I actually believe that they were guilty. My entire outlook, now that I think about it, is there a lawyer in the house? Like you can sue over feelings. They tried to take down a president over feelings.
Yeah.
So I think anyone that was besmirched or hurt or ruined as a result of their blatant lie, it's not a mistake. It was a lie. The person that did it probably got a raise. Like, stop it. So everyone should sue.
Let's all sue together.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.